Like most artists, I spend a lot of time alone. It's not something I planned or even consciously chose at first. It just happened naturally. You know how the studio becomes your sanctuary, the sketchbook becomes your companion, and slowly you realize that some of your best conversations happen without words, just you and the work in front of you. But being alone isn't the same as being lonely. For me, as an introvert, solitude is a necessity. It's how I recharge and how I connect to my inner world. While others might find energy in crowds, I find mine in the quiet spaces between thoughts. It's like tending to an internal garden. You need those quiet moments to let things grow. And over time, I've realized that it's also part of my art practice. Even if I'm listening to music or a podcast while I draw, being alone allows me to get into the flow state. There's something about not having to monitor social cues or worry about how I look when I'm concentrating that frees up mental space for the work itself. The music becomes a soundtrack to my thoughts, the podcast a gentle companion voice that doesn't require responses or reaction. I can let my hands move while my mind wanders, and somehow both the listening and the drawing become deeper because of it. This week, I found myself thinking about the creatures that embody solitude. The one that moved quietly through the world, content in their own space. So I chose to draw a frog because it's a little creature that spends most of its life alone. It doesn't live in community like birds and other mammals, except during mating season. You know, frogs are those little creatures that just hide, observe, and listen. Solitude isn't always easy. There are days when the silence becomes heavy instead of peaceful, when I catch myself talking to my houseplants just to hear a voice respond, even if it's my own. On those days, solitude can feel like an ocean I'm floating in without a shore in sight. But more often, I don't mind it. More often, it's exactly what I need. One thing about spending a lot of time alone is you learn to love yourself more, and that's always a good thing. I think as an artist who works alone, you need to enjoy your own company, right? In a way, there's something almost sacred in those moments where no one is watching and the only voice I need to hear is my own. You know, those moments when the afternoon light hits your workspace just right, when the outside world fades and there's nothing but you and the page. There's no performance, no audience to please, no need to explain your process or your choices. It's not about isolation, it's about presence. And time moves differently because you're not watching the clock, you're watching the work unfold. In a world that moves fast, that presence feels like a kind of rebellion in a way. We live in a culture that's constantly asking us to be on, to network, to share, to be available at all hours. Solitude has become almost suspicious, you know? People worry when you choose to stay home, as if contentment with your own company is somehow a character flaw that needs fixing. Now, I want to be clear. There's a difference between chosen solitude and isolation. Healthy solitude is like a well you can draw from. It replenishes you. Isolation is like a wall. It keeps everything out, including the good things. If you're someone who spends a lot of time alone, whether by choice or circumstance, I hope that reminds you that there's something beautiful in that space. Maybe you're an artist like me, or maybe you're someone who just feels more like yourself when you have room to breathe. Maybe solitude is how you process the world, how you make sense of everything that's happened and everything that's yet to come. Solitude makes room for listening to the voices usually drowned out by noise, for healing the parts of ourselves that need quiet to mend, for creating things that can only emerge when you're not performing for anyone else. It makes room for the unexpected, for thoughts that surprise you, for ideas that show up uninvited but welcome, for the kind of self-discovery that happens when you're not trying to be anyone other than exactly who you are. With that said, thank you for spending a quiet moment here with me today. In a way, even though I made this alone, and even though you're watching this alone, perhaps, we're sharing this solitude together, and there's something beautiful about that too. Thank you so much for watching this video, especially if you watched it till the end. I do appreciate it. If you did, why don't you put a little frog emoji in the comments? And also, I'd love to know, what is your relationship to solitude, and what does that look like in your life or in your creative life if you're an artist? And yeah, again, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already. Share the video with your friends and family. And I'll see you next time in a new video. Bye!